Hello students, I Rajeshwari Shirkanhalli welcome you all in Nagesh Karasgi Orchid School channel. Students, you have learnt in your lower classes about force. Tell me what is a force? Okay, you are right. Force means any effort which should be applied to carry out any function. Now, you have also learnt about the different types of forces. Can you list some of them? Yes, they are magnetic force, then gravitational force, muscular force, then frictional force, etc. Okay. So, in this session we are going to discuss about one such type of force, that is frictional force, which is in short called as a friction. You know what is a friction? It always acts in between the two surfaces. If there is more friction in between the surfaces, then it becomes very difficult of the movement, and if there is less friction in between the surfaces, then we can move the objects very easily. You might have enjoyed playing on the floor by sprinkling some powder. What happens actually in that, when we sprinkle the powder on the surface and when you play on that floor, the powder decreases the force of friction between your legs and the floor, and your movement becomes very easy. You have also experienced cycling. When you do the cycling on a very rough road, then you need to apply more force. Why? Because there is a friction acting in between the surface of the road and the wheel of the cycle. But if the road is very smooth, with applying very less force you can easily do the cycling, because force of friction is less. So, in this chapter we are going to discuss about friction, its different concepts and why the friction is required, the importance of friction, advantages as well as disadvantages. Means at some places we need to increase the friction, and whereas at some places we do not want the friction, we have to reduce the friction. So, all these things we are going to see in this chapter. So, let us begin with chapter number 12, friction. You might have seen a driver of a car or truck slowing down the vehicle at a traffic signal. Okay, so, all of you must have observed that the driver of a car, truck or any vehicle, even your bus driver, bus uncle. So, what they do, they slow down the vehicle at a traffic signal. You also slow down your bicycle whenever needed by applying brakes. Isn't it? When you do the cycling, at some places you have to stop the bicycle when you reach home or when you reach school, or if suppose there is so much crowd, or you see your friend, or at some other places you stop the bicycle. What do you do for stopping the bicycle? You apply the brakes. Have you ever thought why a vehicle slows down when brakes are applied? What is the function of brake? What the brakes do actually? They increase the friction between the road and the wheels of vehicles. Not only vehicles, any object moving or over the surface of another object slows down when no external force is applied on it. Finally, it stops. You must have seen during the cricket match that when a ball is hit by the batsman, it covers a certain distance. After that, it slows down and finally the ball stops. Have you not seen a moving ball on the ground stopping after some time? Whether it is a cricket match or any other game, if you just throw the ball, it moves on the ground and after it slows down and finally stops. Now, why do we slip when we step on a banana peel? Okay. So, what do you think? If suppose by mistakenly you step on the banana peel, then why you slips down? So, you can see in this picture, a boy falls down when he steps on a banana peel. Why? Because banana peel has a very smooth surface, there is very less friction, and that is why you cannot step on the banana peel and walk comfortably. Because of very less friction, you slip down. Now, why is it difficult to walk on a smooth and wet floor? So, we are going to find the answers of all these questions in this chapter. Okay, you will find the answers to such questions in this chapter. So, in this chapter of friction, we are going to find out the answers of all these and many more questions. Now, let us start with force of friction. So, what is force of friction? Force of friction is also called as frictional force or simply friction. Now, there is an activity for you which you all are going to do today, and I am sure you will definitely like to do this activity. What you have to do in this is gently push a book on a table. Okay? So, here you can see in this figure that there is a book kept on the table. So, you have to just place a book on table and you have to gently push it. You observe that it stops after moving for some distance. Repeat this activity pushing the book from the opposite direction, which is shown here in the second figure. See. Now, this is pushing the book from left to right and this is pushing the book from right to left, that is in opposite direction. Does the book stop this time too? Yes. Can you think of an explanation? Can we say that a force must be acting on the book, opposing its motion? Yes. So, there is a force acting on the book which opposes the motion and it makes the book to stop. What is this force? This is called as force of friction. Okay. So, friction opposes the motion of the objects and because of this the objects stop. You saw that if you apply the force along the left, the friction acts along the right, means the frictional force plays in the opposite direction of the applied force. So, when you apply the force in this activity from left to right, frictional force acts from right to left, along the right. If you apply the force along the right, the friction acts along the left direction. So, when you apply the force from right side, the frictional force acts along the left direction. Means in both the cases, the force opposes the motion of the book. The force of friction always opposes the applied force, and because of this force of friction, as it opposes the applied force, the objects come to rest, means they stop. In the above activity, the force of friction acts between the surface of the book and the surface of the table. So, frictional force is always acts in between two surfaces. So, here in this activity, the force of friction is found in between the surface of book and surface of table. Is the friction the same for all the surfaces? No, not at all. Does it depend on the smoothness of the surfaces? Yes, surely. Let us find out the type of surface and the frictional force on that. So, let us start with the next concept, that is factors affecting friction. For that you have to perform another activity, that is the second activity. What you have to do is you have to take a string and tie it to a brick. Pull the brick by using a spring balance. Okay. So, what is a spring balance? Here which is shown, this is a spring balance. You have to take a brick, tie a string, and the another end of the string you have to just fix to the hook of the spring balance, and you have to try to move the brick. You need to apply some force for doing this. Note down the reading on the spring balance when the brick just begins to move. Here on the spring balance, you can see in this figure also there are readings written. So, these readings shows the weight. So, you have to find out the reading on the spring balance when the brick just begins to move. It gives you the measure of the force of friction between the surface of the brick and the floor. So, that reading helps you to find out how much the frictional force is acting between the surface of the brick and the floor. Now, in the second case of this activity, what you are supposed to do is you have to take a polythene sheet and you have to wrap it around the brick. Okay. So, now wrap a piece of polythene around the brick and repeat the activity. Do you observe any difference in the readings of the spring balance in the above two cases? Definitely you will observe there is a difference in the reading of spring balance. Why? Because when you cover that brick with a piece of polythene, as you know that polythene sheet is smooth, it is having a smooth surface. So, when you cover that brick with the polythene sheet, the force of friction between the table and or floor and the polythene sheet is less as compared to the force of friction between the floor and the brick. That is why you will find less reading on the spring balance. So, what might be the reason for difference in the reading? Because of increase and decrease in the force of friction. You can repeat this activity by wrapping a piece of jute bag around the brick. What do you observe? In this case, you will find that it becomes more difficult for the brick to move. Means you will find there is more reading on the spring balance. So, here there are three situations. In first situation, you have to just make the brick move with the help of spring balance. Here the force of friction is acting between the brick, the surface of brick and the surface of floor. In the second situation, you have to wrap the brick with polythene sheet. Now, in second situation, the force of friction is acting in between the floor and the polythene sheet. And in third situation, you have to wrap the brick with the help of a jute bag. Now, here the force of friction is in between the floor and the surface of jute. So, the floor is same, but here there are three different surfaces. One is brick, the second one is brick with plastic or polythene sheet, and in third case the brick with jute sheet, jute bag. So, as these surfaces are different, we find the difference in the reading of the spring balance. Now, obviously here more force of friction is acting in between the surface of floor and the jute. Why? Because jute is a very rough surface, and whereas the force of friction is the least in the surface of floor and the surface of polythene bag. Why? Because polythene sheet, polythene bag, whatever it is very smooth surface. So, there is less force of friction, and that is why we find there is a difference in the spring balance. So, it is very interesting activity, you all can try today. If you do not have the spring balance, no need to worry for that, you just hold one end of the string and you try to pull the brick. First, just try to pull the brick. In second case, wrap the brick with polythene sheet, and in third case, wrap the brick with jute bag, and try yourself, where in which case the brick moves more early, more easily. Okay? Now, what is a spring balance? Let us discuss something about this instrument, spring balance, which is used to find out the measure of force of friction. Just now in this activity we have discussed about spring balance. So, see, this is a spring balance. You can see here there is a handle to hold the spring balance, and here there are readings seen on the spring balance, and there is a hook to which, as I have told in that activity, you have to fix the one end of the string. So, spring balance is a device used for measuring the force acting on an object. So, how much force is acting on the object is measured by the reading shown in the spring balance. It consists of a coiled spring which gets stretched when a force is applied to it. So, here inside there is a spring, a coiled spring is present, and this coiled spring gets stretched when a force is applied to it. Stretching of the spring is measured by a pointer moving on a graduated scale. If you look at this figure carefully, here in between you can see there is a pointer. So, this pointer moves along the graduated scale. The reading on the scale gives the magnitude of the force. So, by seeing the reading we come to know that how much force is acting on that object. Okay, so, now let us perform another activity. See, this chapter is full of activities and really you will all enjoy doing these activities. So, just do not learn the chapter, perform all the activities by your own. See the third activity, that is activity 12.3. You have to make an inclined plane on a smooth floor or on a table. So, on the floor on a table you can make one inclined plane. What is meant by inclined plane? Slanting. You have to keep that any cardboard or anything in a slanting position, then you will get an inclined plane. You may use a wooden board also, which can be supported by the bricks or books. So, you can keep just 3-4 books on that, you can keep the wooden board in a slanting manner, you will get an inclined plane, or instead of books you can even use bricks. Put a mark with a pen at any point A on the inclined plane. Now, let a pencil cell move down from this point. How far does it move on the table before coming to rest? Note down the distance. Now, spread the piece of cloth over the table. Then, make sure that there are no wrinkles in the cloth. Try the activity again. And in third case, what you can do is, you can first compare these two cases. I will tell the third case later on. So, see what you have to do, you have to take one wooden cardboard, see how it is kept slanting. This is inclined plane here, it is just supported on a few books, and then you have to take a pencil cell. See, this is shown here in this figure, this is a pencil cell. You have to just mark one point on this board as point A. So, this is your starting position. At that point you have to place a cell and you have to just let it roll down, just leave it. Then the cell will roll down, it will move and it will stop at one place. You have to measure this length from this cardboard to this cell. In second case, what you have to do is, on the table you have to just spread a sheet of cloth, but you have to see that there should not be any wrinkles on this piece of cloth, sorry. And then again you have to repeat this activity. You have to see till what distance the pencil cell moves. Now, see here, this on the surface of this cardboard the movement will be same, but after that the cell moves on the piece of cloth instead of moving on the table in the second case. You can repeat this activity by spreading a thin layer of sand over the table. Maintain the same slope throughout the activity. So, here again in this activity there are 3 cases. What are these 3 cases? In first, see, first of all, in all the 3 cases you have to use the same cardboard, keep same number of books, make it inclined in the same way, and in first case you have to just allow the pencil cell to roll down from the cardboard or from the wooden board on the table. Measure the length, till what length the cell moves and stops. In second case, on the table you have to spread a sheet of cloth and you have to allow the pencil cell to move on the sheet of cloth. You have to take care that this cloth should not have any wrinkles. And in the third case, you have to spread a thin layer of sand, and again you have to make the pencil cell to roll down on the thin layer of sand. What do you think? What are your observations? See, in first case, as I have told that the pencil cell moves directly on the table. If you might have observed, the length of the cell which it covers is more in case of first situation. Why? Because the floor or table is having a smooth surface, and that is why it offers less frictional force. So, pencil cell is able to move a long distance, and when you spread a sheet of cloth, the frictional force is acting now in between the surface of a cell and the cloth. Cloth gives more frictional force, it offers more frictional force, and that is why the pencil cell is not able to cover that much distance which it has covered in the previous case. And in the next situation, when you spread a thin layer of sand, as you know, it is having a rough surface. So, even here the force of friction increases more, and that is why the pencil cell moves very little distance. So, the movement of the pencil cell is the result of force of friction acting between the two surfaces. One surface is same, that is the surface of pencil cell, and whereas the second surface is different in three situations. In first situation, it is the surface of floor or table. In the second situation, it is the surface of cloth, and in the third situation, it is the surface of a layer of sand. So, as there is more friction in between the surface of pencil cell and sand, there is less distance covered by the cell. So, you can perform this activity. It is also very interesting activity. Once you do, you will feel to perform the activity with the help of different surfaces. You can try it, not only just rolling the pencil cell on the floor or on the piece of cloth or on the thin layer of sand. You can use different surfaces. You can keep a cardboard, you can keep a drawing sheet, or a piece of paper you can place like that. You can use different surfaces and try yourself. From that you come to know where on which surface there is more roughness, and in between which surfaces there is more force of friction. Okay? Okay. Now, let us move to the next. So, as I have just told that the distance covered depending on the nature of the surface on which the cell moves. So, cell moves at different rates at different distances, and it is based totally on the nature of the surface. If the surface is smooth, then more distance is covered by the cell, and if the surface is rough, then less distance is covered by the cell. So, could the smoothness of the surface of the cell also affect the distance travelled by it? Yes, definitely. Okay. Now, Bhuju is saying that I shall try the activity by wrapping a piece of sandpaper around the cell. What do you feel if you wrap the if you take a sandpaper and wrap it around the cell? What will happen? You know, sandpaper is having a rough surface, and when you wrap the pencil cell with the sandpaper, it increases the force of friction. So, again in that case, even if suppose you are using the same floor or same table, the pencil cell will cover less distance because of wrapping it with a sandpaper. Okay, so friction is caused by irregularities on the two surfaces. When we say that the surface is rough, means there are more irregularities. Okay, when two surfaces comes in contact, if they are rough surfaces, then there are more irregularities, and if they are smooth surfaces, then there are less irregularities. Even those surfaces which appear very smooth have large number of minute irregularities on them. Irregularities on the two surfaces lock into one another. Okay, so frictional force always acts in between two surfaces, and there are irregularities on both the surfaces. Even the surface looks smooth, but still it has irregularities. So, when force of friction comes into action, these irregularities, they get locked into one another. When we attempt to move any surface, we have to apply a force to overcome interlocking. On rough surfaces, there are large number of irregularities. So, the force of friction is greater if a rough surface is involved. So, as I have just told that the irregularities are more on the rough surfaces, and that is why frictional force is also more. Now, here you can see the surface with irregularities. Even if the surface looks regular, plain, smooth, but still there are irregularities present on its surfaces. Okay. So, we see that the friction is caused by the interlocking of irregularities in the two surfaces. It is obvious that the force of friction will increase if the two surfaces are pressed harder. So, if you take any two surfaces and press them very hard, then it increases the force of friction. You can experience it by dragging a mat when nobody is sitting on it and when a person is sitting on it. So, in which case it is very easy for you to drag the mat? When nobody is sitting on it. But when somebody is sitting on it, irregularities occur more and it becomes difficult to drag a mat. Now, recall your experience when last time you moved a heavy box from one place to another. If you have no such experience, get that experience now. What is easier, to move the box from rest or to move it when it is already in motion? So, if you have tried it, you can easily answer to this question. If you have not moved any box till now, do it today. Move the box today. So, in which case it is easy to move the box? When it is at the rest position, means it is just kept at one place, or the box is already moving. Obviously, we feel it is easy to move the box when it is already in motion. So, the force required to overcome the friction at the instant an object starts moving from rest is the measure of static friction. On the other hand, the force required to keep the object moving with the same speed is measure of sliding friction. So, here when you are moving the box which is kept at rest position, then the force of friction which is required to move the object from the rest position is called as static friction. And whereas if suppose the object is moving already and when you are trying to move it, the force required is called as the sliding friction. Okay. So, when the box starts sliding, the contact points on its surface do not get enough time to lock into the contact points on the floor. When the object is sliding, box is sliding for example, and in that case the irregularities do not get that much time to get interlocked. So, contact points on the surface do not get enough time to lock into the contact points of the floor. So, the sliding friction is slightly smaller than the static friction. So, the first type of friction is static friction, which is the force required to move the object from rest position, and second one is sliding friction, which is required to move the object which is already in motion. So, sliding friction is slightly less than the static friction, and you find it somewhat easier to move the box already in motion than to get it started. So, students, today we have discussed about friction. Friction is also called as the force of friction because it is a type of friction. It is a type of force. So, it is called as frictional force also. So, what is the frictional force or force of friction or simply friction? It is a force which is acting in between two surfaces, and force of friction is different in between different surfaces. It depends on the nature of the surface. If the surface is smooth, then there is less force of friction, and if the surface is rough, then there is more force of friction. We have seen different activities, and I am sure today you are definitely going to try those activities. You will find it very interesting when you perform the activities. So, we have discussed different activities which are involving moving of the brick with the help of spring balance, and similarly moving of the pencil cell by wrapping the by taking the table floor as it is, or by spreading a sheet of cloth or spreading a sheet of sand. Then we have discussed that this force of friction is because of interlocking of irregularities, and we have discussed two types of frictions. They are static friction and sliding friction. Static friction means it is the force of friction which is required to move the object from rest, and sliding friction means it is the force required which is for the object which is already in motion. So, sliding friction is less, slightly less than the static friction. Now, there is one more type of friction, that is called as rolling friction, which is even more smaller than the sliding friction also. So, if you have to arrange these three frictions in the increasing order, first is static friction, then sliding friction, and then rolling friction. So, we will continue the remaining concepts in the next session. Today we will stop here. Thank you.